Did you know that your child could be breaking copyright laws without even realizing it? From copying images for school projects to using AI-generated content, understanding copyright and fair use has never been more important. Good day and welcome back to Family Cyber Tips Daily. If you're a parent, teacher, or caregiver, you've probably seen your kids copy images from the internet, use music in their videos, or even experiment with AI-generated content. But the question is all of that legal? Today, we're diving into copyright, fair use, and how AI is changing content ownership, so your kids don't run into trouble while being creative online. I'm hoping that you stick around for practical tips you can start using today. And in case I forget, please don't be hesitant to like and subscribe to this channel if you want more quick and useful family cyber tips. Okay, let's dive in. So the first area we're going to cover is what is copyright. It may be confusing for many of you, but what actually is copyright? Well, simply, copyright is a law that protects people's original work like books, music, artwork, and videos, so others can't use it without their permission. Kids often assume that if something is online, it's free to use. And I hasten to add, most adults may think the same, but that's not always the case. For example, if your child finds an image on Google and uses it in a school project, that image may be copyrighted, meaning they need permission to use it legally. Let's find out what fair use is. Let's try and understand on the other side of the fence what fair use really is, okay? Fair use, on the other hand, allows limited use of copyrighted materials without permission for purposes like education, news, and parody. But kids need to be careful. Not all uses qualify as fair use, and misusing someone's work can lead to trouble, okay? These are things that I know that many parents really should be celebrating, that you are sitting in front of this information, because I know that the playground for our young ones is definitely on the internet. And so they will combine their leisure with schoolwork. And if they don't get this right, there are lots of issues ahead. An example of fair use would be creating a YouTube video that heavily uses someone else's music or footage. This may violate copyright laws unless it's transformed in a way that falls under fair use. Now we have the added issue of AI. And for those who don't know what AI is, artificial intelligence. So let's look at how AI is changing copyright and fair use. This is crucially important, okay? So we're going to look at the impact of artificial intelligence on copyright and fair use. Needless to say, the rise of AI is not something parents don't know about, because I'm sure your kids are talking about AI. So with the rise of AI, things get more complicated. AI-generated content, for example, artwork, stories, and music, are often created by pulling from existing data. The AI models don't just make up, although there's a place for that, but they just won't make up this information. They pull it from existing content, okay? So they look around, search, and if you configure your AI properly, AI by What I mean there is AI apps like DeepSeek or ChatGPT. They often pull from existing data, some of which might be copyrighted. And so it's important. So of course, with that, ownership questions will arise. If an AI creates an image, who actually owns it? Your child may assume they own AI generated work, but that's not always true. Okay? Fair use still applies, but AI can blur the lines between original and derivative works, making copyright rules harder to enforce. Wish they could make this a lot more clearer, but it's what it is. We'll get there. But early days, or as they say, early doors, there's an issue there, and AI definitely has a place. But as if we're talking tips, teach your kids to credit sources. I think they do enough of that in the school environment. But you've got to teach your kids to credit sources, check usage rights, and avoid using AI-generated content for commercial purposes without permission. That's when issues really arise, when money is being is involved. These owners of this content will raise their eyebrows. So it's got to be important that we teach them to credit sources. Okay, let's look at another area now that we've got definitions out of the way and the impact of AI. Let's look at how we can protect our children's original work. I'm all for creativity, getting our kids to be creators and not just consumers. It's a huge positive, in my humble view, that we get our kids to start, creating. Not necessarily suggesting that we were creative in our own time, but we have an opportunity to, get them thinking out of the box that way. Okay. So how do you protect your child's original work? Child could wake up in the morning, very early in the morning, and create something that is unique. But if they just share it in the, in the public domain, they may lose copyrights to that material. So we've got to teach them how to not do that. And so if your child creates their own music, for example, let's use music or artwork or even writing, things that we support and promote on this platform, they should learn how to protect it. One thing that I know that I had to do when I created my first album, and it's such a basic thing to do, we're now talking music. When I created the first album, researching on the web at the time, I was told to go to the post office after I had received the original from the printers. I should go to the post office and do recorded post or recorded delivery and send the CD that I had received to my home address. And it had to be signed for. So I did that, and we signed the copy when the postman came, and that constitutes copyright, or at least affords the copyright protection. That's what we did then. Of course, because this was in 2005, 2008-ish. But the rules have not changed much, but they've obviously matured over time. But one simple thing that your young one can do, if they're in that space of creating, they should watermark their intellectual property. They should watermark their images or their write-ups. By watermark, put maybe a digital signature on the image, that affords them the copyright protection. If they're into videos and music and they're using that platform, then they can use copyright protection settings on YouTube and social media in general. And this will afford them the digital protection that that we are seeking to, achieve for the sake of their intellectual property. Okay. Understand Creative Commons license. Some works are free to use with credit. So you teach them that and make sure that these things are clear to them and that there's no doubt in their minds that they're doing the right thing, okay? So what do we take away from this whole copyright and fair use topic today for you parents and caregivers? It's important, really important, that we teach our kids to ask permission before using content they didn't create. There's this entitlement mentality that our kids, certainly before, it's 2019, maybe even earlier, but there's this general entitlement mentality that our young ones have, especially teenagers, and it's unfortunate, but it's a reality. So nothing, like I mentioned earlier, not everything online is for consumption or for our use. Especially as the internet grows, we've got to teach them to ask permission before using any content they didn't create. Another takeaway will be that we have to help them understand fair use so they know what's legal and what's not. And then with the complication of AI, we've got to explain AI's role in copyright and why it's important to be careful. And lastly, we've got to encourage them to protect their own work. As the future of tomorrow, they've got to protect their own work as future digital creators, okay? It's not a hopeless situation, and we can make a difference as parents, really can. And I'm glad that I'm having the opportunity to educate you along those lines, because as AI and digital content continue to evolve, it's more important than ever to teach our young ones how to respect other people's work and protect their own. Helping them navigate these rules now will prepare them to be responsible digital citizens in the future. Okay? If you want more family-friendly cyber tips, told you, and I'll keep telling you, hit the subscribe button. It is free, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next episode, next show, next bulletin of the Family Cyber Tips Daily. I've been your host, Lawrence Idem. Until tomorrow, same time, 6 p.m. God bless and goodbye.